Well, hello again, everyone. Professor Profit coming to you from Craps University, and we've got a neat little roulette strategy for you this evening. This one is called the Mixer. Now, this is a $1,000 buy-in. We'll be playing at a little higher level. This is an outside betting system. So 10% of 1,000 is $100. So that'll be our win goal for this session. A $100 bill, a Benjamin. So as I said, this is an outside betting strategy, and it does have a regression component to it. And that is in order to protect our buy-in here. So if you like this video, we ask that you give us the old thumbs up, and that way we'll know you're enjoying the content we're putting before you. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to the Craps University channel, we'd love to have you become part of the student body here at Craps U. We do 2 of these roulette strategy videos a week and 1 crap strategy video each and every week. So come on in and join the fun. So we're going to head on down to the virtual felt here shortly and show you the nuts and bolts of this, exactly how it works, exactly how it's bet, and then we will take a peek at it. As always, we suggest that you try these strategies on your software at home or your table at home before you take them to the casino. Be sure you're comfortable with them and that you're confident that you're going to win a few bucks. So let's head on down to the felt now and take a peek. We'll see you down there shortly. All right, everybody, down here on the virtual roulette table, and we're getting ready to spin our mixer strategy. Now, this is a little different from some of them we've done in the past. The way this works, we start off with $10 bets on 2 of the dozens, the 2 that have been the longest since they've hit. So that would be the first and third for $10 each. And then we spin, and if we hit one of them, say we hit the third 12, then the second 12, we take that one down. Then the first 12 we'd add 10 to that, make that 20, and then we go to the second 12 for 10. Now let's say the second 12 hit, so we take that down, and then the first 12, we'd add another 10 to that, make that 30, and then we'd move our other bet to the third 12. So let's say the next one we hit the second 12 and miss both of these, and both of these bets would go up $10 each. So that put us at 40 on the first 12 and 20 on the third 12. Now, one problem that I've had with this strategy is if you get on a roll where you're missing one particular dozen for a long streak, say 8, 9, 10 times, if you continue just adding, you're going to go bust and lose your bankroll. So what I've done to try to slow that down, once I get to 50, say on the first 12, 50, and if I missed again, rather than going to 60, I'll actually start regressing, and then I'd go back to 40. And if I missed again, then 30, then 20, then 10, and we'd start back up again. Now, you're still going to lose a fair amount of money, but you're not going to go busto, and that'll leave you in the game where hopefully you can come back and recover and win some money. So this is a $1,000 buy-in, which means 10% is a $100 win goal. So let's go ahead and get started. Get everything down. We'll start over. And like I said, the second 12 is the last hit, so we'll go 10 on the first and the third 12. And let's spin. Here we go. See if we can get off to a good start here. 24 numbers covered, of course. That's the third 12, so that's a win there. So the first 12 will go to 20 on that one, go up 1 unit, and then we'll go ahead and pick up the second 12, always betting 2 of the dozens. So here we go. We're up $10 on the session. Once we get to our session high, of course, we'll go back to our base level. This is the second 12, so that's a break even on it. So the first 12 missed again, so we'll actually go up to 30 on it. And we'll stay at the $10 level. We'll just move it over to the third dozen now. So let's see if we can get a first dozen hit. And we miss on both of them. So we'll go up to 40 and 20 now. So 40 on the first dozen, 20 on the third dozen. And we're spinning. Here we go. Down 30 on the session now. And there's 1 red, so that's going to be a score hit on the first dozen. And so that'll be, trying to remember what we had on the third dozen here. We had 20, So we'll go to 30 on the third dozen, and then we'll go to 10 on the second dozen. So 10 and 30 now, and we're spinning. Here we go. We're sitting at 30, and that's 18 red. So that's a $10 loss. So we'll go to 10 and 40 and spin again, looking for third dozen on this one. And there's 31 black. So that is a $70 win. And that puts us at 90 now. So we'll go to 20 on the first dozen and 10 on the second dozen. And I think I misspoke when I said when you hit your session high, you go back to your base level. This particular strategy, that's not correct. We'll just keep increasing our bets on the dozens that miss. And hopefully we won't get too far out of whack here. So that was a second dozen hit. So we'll go to 30 on the first dozen and 10 on the third dozen now, sitting at 90 for the session. And there's 35 black, so that's a third dozen hit. That's a $10 loss, so we'll go to 40 now on the first dozen and 10 on the second dozen now as we switch away from the third dozen to the second dozen since the third dozen just hit. So that's a first dozen hit for us, and that is a $70 win. So that puts us at 150, which is well above our win goal. So that is how the mixer strategy works. And we started out with $1,000, ended up at $1,150. This has been a short video, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. However, if I was playing this in a casino, I would be walking away with $150 in my pocket. So, okay, let's go back and see what we had a bet before. So we were at 40 and 10. So we'll be at 20 on the second dozen and 10 on the third dozen. So 20 and 10, and we're spinning. Here we go. And that is 22 black. So that's a nice $30 win for us. So we'll go to 20 on the third dozen now and 10 on the first dozen. And there's 7 red, so that'll be a first dozen hit for us. That's break even. So we'll go to 30 now on the third dozen and 10 on the second dozen. And that's 24 black, so that'll be a second dozen hit and a $10 loss. So we'll go to 40 now on the third dozen and 10 on the first dozen. And of course, we're looking for a third dozen hit here. And there it is, 27 red. All right, so that's a nice $70 win for us. So we'll go from 10 to 20 on the first dozen and 10 on the second dozen. And we're spinning. So there's 34 red, so that's a loss. So we'll rebet and just add 10 to each one of these. So that'll put us at 30 on the first dozen and 20 on the second dozen. So there's 2 black. That's the first dozen hit for us. That's a $40 win. And let's see where we are. So that puts us at 250. So that would be another session win for us. And once again, we would be walking away. So now let's go to 30 on the second dozen and 10 on the third dozen. And we're spinning. Here we go. That's 33 red. So that's a $10 loss. So now I believe we go to 40. If I remember right, on the second dozen. Yep. And then we'll move the third dozen over to the first dozen. So 10 on the first dozen, 40 on the second dozen, and of course that second dozen is where we want to hit. So there's 4 black, so we do hit that first dozen. So now we're up to our max $50 bet on the second dozen, and we go 10 on the third. Now if we do not hit on the second dozen on this spin, rather than going up to 60, we'll start regressing. We'll go back down to 40. And that way, if we do hit it, we still will make a fair amount of money rather than just starting over at 10. However, if we continue to miss, we'll keep going down, regressing by $10 each time we miss. So we're at 50 and 10 right now. So let's see if we can hit a second dozen number. So 12 red is not that, so we lose on both of those. So normally we would go to 60 on the second dozen. We're going to regress down to 40, however. And we will go up on the third dozen to 20. And we're spinning. Here we go. And there's 8 black, so we miss on both of them again. So now we go to 30 and 30. We regress 10 on this one. We go up 10 on this one. And spin again. And as you know, by playing roulette, if you played long, you'll get on these streaks. And what we're trying to do is be able to stay in the game. So we do hit that second dozen finally. However, the third dozen now is up to 40. And the first dozen now is at 10. So we're spinning again. Here we go. And there's 27 red. So that's a third dozen hit, a $70 win. And so we go to 20 on the first dozen and 10 on the second dozen. And that's 22 black, so that's a second dozen hit for us. So we'll go to 30 on the first dozen and 10 on the third dozen now. And that's 28 black, so that's a third dozen hit for us. And now we'll go to 40 on the first dozen and 10 on the second dozen. So we're looking for a little number here. And that's not it, 23 red. So that's another loss, $20 loss. So now we'll go up to our maximum $50 bet on the first dozen and 10 on the third dozen. Here we go. Looking for a first dozen hit here. And there it is. That's 11 black, so we do not have to start regressing. So now we'll go to 20 on the third dozen and 10 on the first dozen. And that's 17 black, so that is a second dozen hit. And that will put us at 30 now on the third dozen and 10 on the first dozen. So now we're looking for a big number, something over 24. 7's not it. 7 red, so that's a $10 loss. And now we'll go to 40 on the third dozen and 10 on the second dozen. And again, we're looking for a big number here. 15 black's not going to be big enough. So now we're going to go to our max $50 bet on the third dozen, and we'll go 10 on the first dozen. So 33 black, so we do hit that one. That's a big hit for us. And I think we played long enough now where you kind of get the idea how this strategy works. And I'd like to know what you think about limiting the bets to $50 and then regressing back down after that to help save our bankroll and give us more spins to recover. We never really got in the hole on this particular session, but it can happen. And so is that a good thing, a bad thing? Would you want to go ahead and continue to increase your bets? That way you can make up ground quicker, or you want to try to protect your bankroll? I guess that is the question. So we started off with a $1,000 buy-in. We ended up at $1,320. That's a $320 win. And as I mentioned before, I would have stopped at $150, and then I would have stopped again at $250. But we continued to make money and ended up with a $320 profit, 32%. That's a pretty nice return on investment. So that is how the mixer strategy works. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, we ask that you give us the old thumbs up, and that way we know you're enjoying the content we're putting before you. Also, if you have not already subscribed to the Craps University channel, we'd love to have you hit that button right now and become part of the student body here at Craps U. Now, we do 2 of these roulette strategy videos every week and 1 crap strategy video every week, so that's 3 times a week on the two most fun games in the casino. Now, as always, we do suggest that you try this on your software at home or your table at home before you take it to the casino. Be sure you're comfortable with the strategy and that you're confident with the strategy before you start betting your hard-earned money and putting it at risk. So we do thank you for joining us and hope you'll come back and see us again soon. Until that time, if you're out there spinning that wheel, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. And we hope all your numbers come up winners. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.